Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Laurel Langmeyer.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm so excited. I'm sure you know me. I invited you. Raymond Aaron, New York Times top 10 best-selling author. I've been on stage for 37 years helping people like you write books, increase your credibility and branding, understand the spiritual universe. But that's not my job today. I've been promoted. I am simply the introducer of the speaker today. It's a giant honor. And I will tell you, well, I'm sure you know who the speaker is, the world famous Laurel Langmeyer. But before we bring her on, oh my God, the numbers are racing up. This is so exciting. Please put in the chat your name and where you're from and what you want to learn from this amazing Laurel Langmeyer. So your name, the city you're from or country, and what you want to learn. So Masa says, wow, 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 Eritrea. I don't know what Eritrea is. Maybe that's a city. So just type into the chat. So Kelly says, I'm from Vancouver and she wants to learn everything. And Joy, oh, hi, Joy, is from Toronto. Paul's from, oh my God, it's coming in so fast, Salt Lake City. Oh my God, I can't even read them. They're jumping by so fast. Ken from St. Louis, Missouri, interested in increasing my financial IQ. Michael says Toronto, good financial habits. And Nijaz is from Chicago. And Laurel says anything about money, be specific. Thanks for teaching us. And Poonam, yes. And Nathan is from Toronto. Joy says, Raymond, great to see you. Amanda is from Toronto. Majid is Toronto. Howard from Richmond, BC. Hi, Raymond. Another 25 years. Yes, 25 years. Wow. Xavier from Malta. Wow. Poonam says, wow, wow, wow. I think Poonam is from India. We were just talking recently. Joe Smo, Henry, New York. Lots of prosperity specialists who are broke. Let's hear some real results. Yeah, damn it. So I want you to confirm. Are you broke or are you rich?
Rich.
Okay, good. We got that one.
Been a multimillionaire since 2000, so 20 years in standing.
Wow. Roy C says he's from Colin, St. Albert. He wants to get out of debt. Anuja is from Toronto. Wants to learn good financial health. I am from UK through Paul O'Mahony and want to improve my financial health. Charles is from New York, and Paul, he wants to survive the downturn. Olga's from Toronto, wants to learn financial abundance. Look at this, Lucy Chan. Hi, Lucy, from Vancouver. We were just chatting a couple days ago. Paul is from San Diego, and Steve is from Brampton, and George is from Aberdeen, Scotland.
Love Scotland.
Jill is from UK. She wants to get out of debt. And Terrence is from South Africa. Welcome, South Africa. What a pleasure to see you. Ben says, hello from Ben and Sherry in Los Angeles. Great to see you again. Well, I'm glad you're here. Debrina from North York. Poonam says, thank you from India. Paul is in Dallas. This is amazing. Look at this. Hi from Nigeria. Andrew from London. Blaine from Richmond, BC. Joe from Ireland. Joe from Oceanside. Jill from Singapore, Sue from Midland. You know, I said there wouldn't be people from other than North America or Europe, but my gosh, we've got them from all over the world. Mary from Denver, Raj from Toronto, and Blaine says, I am broke. I'm in need of guidance on how to take charge of my financial future. Wait till you hear this. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag a bit. You will have made money by Friday. Today, let me check what today is. Today is Tuesday. You will have made money by Friday because this gal is the millionaire maker. Kathleen says, hi, would be able to receive a recording of this webinar. Yes, we're going to be sending out a recording. Wency from Kuwait. Whoa. Wow. Renee Sugar. I'm Renee from Toronto. I want to learn about how to intelligently expand my current financial cash into something greater. Idris from England, excited to be here. Beverly from Trinidad. Hello from Cape Town, South Africa. Barry from Winnipeg. Slovenia. Primo's Trunk. Wow. I love Slovenia. Ljubljana, Slovenia is one of my favorite cities in the whole world. Salt Lake City is Luke. Blaine says, wow, thank you, Raymond. Beverly says, thank you. Florence says, London. Shireen says, I want to know about the validity of Bitcoin. I think she means Bitcoin. Bitcoin is something else. Cryptocurrency trading platforms. What should one watch out for? And she's from Aurora, Ontario, just near Toronto. Watching from London, Carmen from Toronto, Shannon from London. This is amazing. Wow. Wow. And we have, we're loaded with people. We have over 100% of the people who said they'd be here actually have showed up. Over 100%. So let me introduce this amazing lady. First of all, she's so amazing that out of the 8 billion people on Earth, she was one of the 40 filmed for the incredible blockbuster hit movie, The Secret. And of the 40, she was one of the 15 that got into the final edit. She's amazing. Why? Because she's a millionaire maker. No bullshit. She doesn't just teach. She drags you kicking and screaming to wealth. I don't know anyone else who does it. Daniela's from Ghana. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. She's a dear friend. I attended her wedding. Gosh, how long ago? 3 years ago?
4.5, my friend.
4.5. My gosh, I was honored to attend her wedding. She married a Canadian, and so it was a local flight for me, or at least a domestic flight for me. I just love her. I love how dedicated she is, how funny she is. She's got great one-liners, like a man is not a plan. You'll be cracking up when you hear her, because I love her. I love her humor. I love her straightforwardness. And I love the fact she goes beyond teaching and beyond doing to dragging you to your goal. She won't let go of you till you get to your goal. She's amazing that way. And she's got a couple slides to show you what you're going to be learning. And then she's got a video, which does an even better job than I did of introducing how amazing she is. Take it away, Laura.
Thank you. I appreciate being here. I'll let you guys tell me, Raymond, can you see this?
Yes, you're there. We can see your first slide, financial empowerment.
We're going to talk about financial empowerment. And I leave it as a broad topic. In fact, you actually helped me name this because I gave some topics, and because there's so much about empowering and then doing that action. And again, 5 New York Times bestsellers. In the process, by the end of the month, we will have what's called a galley copy of How to Make Millionaire Kids. So I have asked a lieutenant colonel from the Air Force who made Millionaire Kids very different than I made my Millionaire Kids. And we are collaborating on a book. In fact, Raymond, I want you to, you should do the foreword for us. I just made that up, but that would be amazing because you are the best book writer ever. And then I need an editor. Now, we're just doing a deal. This is what you're going to see in my presentation. We just get stuff done, and I'm getting stuff done right now. Getting Raymond to forward and getting somebody he knows to edit our book. I have 52 total books, but 5 hit the New York Times. The kids' book is really important because a lot of kids are with parents, and I've always said the parents have to be responsible for creating a legacy and creating financial literacy for their kids. And my God, in this time, you better sit up, get some note paper, pay attention. I talk really fast. My speed works. I'm not going to slow down. And Raymond's speed works. He doesn't slow down. So we're going to ask you to pick up your pace. And notice when we say that it's not being sarcastic. I say it kind of fun and sarcastic, but I'm so serious about that. Is our pace works. And some people look and judge and say, why do you do so much and go so fast? Because it works. And what you need to look at is the comfort that you're in and how that isn't working. So like Raymond said, I'm going to cover a very broad spectrum. And then I think the one guy earlier said, am I broke? Or, there's a lot of, I'd say prosperity speakers. Well, I'm not prosperity. I am let's get rich, really in your checkbook, to your corporate structure, to your trust. Then we set it up from the banking level, and you got to make a lot of money. So here's a little quick video that tells you more about me. And I'm so excited to teach all the people from all over the world. So hang tight, listen to the video, and then I'll be back, and we're going to go, and get a notepad because you're going to leave with a plan. Ready? Every small business owner has to have a mentor. A mentor is someone who has walked the path before you. So their job, I think, and I've had mentors since I was 17. That was just a few years ago. If you have the intention of becoming an entrepreneur and making money and getting wealthy, then you form your corporation right now. Instead of focusing on what you can't have and the struggles, you focus on what you can have. And so like the illegal conversations I say at home is you don't say what you can't afford. You say, well, how can we afford it? I mean, last I checked, and I always say this kind of funny, but Christopher Columbus did not discover America so we could have jobs. I mean, he discovered it for entrepreneurialism, for freedom, and we have lost it. We lost it from, generations have lost it. It is time to bring spirit back. I mean, that's where the money's made. It's, I want to be a millionaire, and I'm going to change my choices, my way of living, and really get in action around creating that for myself and my life. The traditional financial planning world doesn't work if you really want to be wealthy. The traditional financial planning world is designed that you maybe stay stable. It designs you to make less as you get older. Hi, this is Laura Langmeyer, the Millionaire Maker. I want you to follow me on Instagram. Make sure you turn on your post notifications so you get all my messages. What we talk about in the Millionaire Maker is money makeovers and how do you really recreate? Most people are focusing on debt. What we want you to focus on is creating more. I'd say 80% of my coaching that I do in one-on-one with folks is about their psychology and the way they think. You know, you can run from creditors, but you can't run from your credit score. We could be screaming till the sun comes out. Then we'll be weak, we'll be the only side. You really have to get your money working for you. Most people don't know how to invest. They're investing poorly. They're in single-digit numbers. Millionaires don't do that. All right. Raymond, anything else? Or I'm going to take it away.
No, you go for it. I'm so excited.
I am too, and appreciate being here and with all of you. So my lawyer makes me say this, and as I get older and wiser, it's even more important because we're going to talk about a lot of things. And everything I talk about, I will tend to use more, I'm going to say U.S. and then Canadian because my husband is Canadian. So I'm very, very well versed in any of the Canadian terminology as well. But we're going to talk a lot about tax. We're going to talk about corporate structure. We're going to talk so much about so many things that are critical to your financial being and in this time. So get a pen and paper. And I always put this up because it's for educational purposes. But, like you, Raymond, we've been doing this for so long. I've been doing this since 1996. So a little bit of a backstory. And I'm just going to move here because I want you to see this. What we're going to talk about is I grew up on a farm in Nebraska, and at 17, actually, another Canadians I knew, have always been near and dear. Plus, it's one of my favorite places to ski in the world. So Dennis Waitley gave me the book, Think and Grow Rich at 17, which is my different trajectory. I changed my degree. I was going to be a lawyer, moved to finance. And then I've studied wealthy families. And I'll tell you, in this time of COVID and the political undertone, it is in the highest, I'm going to say transparency, corruption, whatever you want to call it. But in 1933 is when all of this system that is now in this very volatile moment, we're not going to talk about that in this broadcast, but it is being shaken at the very ground roots. I mean, Jekyll Island, when 7 of the wealthiest families went away and designed the system that we have lived in until this time. And we'll see where this goes from here. And somebody asked about Bitcoin. We're going to talk a lot about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about cannabis. We're going to talk about hemp. There's 3 new asset classes in the world. And it's not just Bitcoin, it's digital currency. So we got a wide variety of things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk I'm going to say straight about all of them and how critical it is. So I'm like a motivational speaker, like Raymond said. I'm kind of a kick-ass speaker, which means, in my world, you do some work. If you want to get rich, you're going to do the work that it takes. And we have perfected it. I have spent over 20 years. 1996 is when I started really, really studying money. So I got a finance degree, of course, was taught to go get a job. And so I went on to get another degree in exercise physiology because I didn't want to get a job. Actually had a job for about a minute in an investment banking firm. And I said, this whole going to work and coming home, this ain't going to work for me. So then I went on to get another degree in exercise physiology because I was an athlete, been an athlete my whole life. Then I took those 2 degrees and I did the statistical analysis of how corporations pay a lot of money for unhealthy employees. And I built 272 fitness centers on offshore oil rigs for Chevron, which took me all over the world. I've been to Angola. I've been to Nigeria. I've been to Papua New Guinea. I've been to Kazakhstan on behalf of Chevron, building fitness centers and health facilities for their employees. Been all over the world. And then in 1996, met Robert Kiyosaki, Sharon Lechter. And from then, kind of the rest is history. I put the game on the map, the Rich Dad Poor Dad game. And then in 2000, went on my own, designed the Millionaire Maker series. And we have perfected how to make millionaires. I literally can promise you in 3 to 5 years, you have to do what we say. This isn't a casual sit back and just, do a quick vision board. All of that is important. All of you writing a book is important. All of these things are important, but we're going to put it together in what I call an integrated package. So we're going to show you how you have to integrate it. You can't just have one piece of this puzzle. It's a very complex puzzle. Complex does not mean like you can't do it and it's so complicated, right? Complex and complicated are 2 different words. So you can totally do it. You just have to do it in the right sequence. So notice our conversation today, the sequence that you need to put your plan in order. And I know because in 96, like I had a lot going on. I always knew how to make money. My first job, my first business was 13 years old. And growing up in this farm area of Nebraska, I would mow cemetery lawns and I'd mow our lawns and I would, do farm chores and farm kinds of things. And at 17, I became a personal trainer. So I've always had the let's go make money thing going on because I knew money would get me freedom and money would get me whatever I wanted in the world, which I wanted to ski all over the world. So when I launched into the cash flow, that actually took me all over the world. So on behalf of Robert and Sharon, I put the cash flow game into Canada for sure in my first country. Then I went to Australia, went to the UK. And then when I did my own work, I have taken it all over the world. So even though I teach in very US vernacular, a lot of today is actually in Canadian, which transfers well to the UK, South Africa, and Australia. Been in Australia 2010 to 15, was there over 60 something times. So damn near lived in Australia during the big financial crash. So my point is the only country I have not taught these principles in and don't know if they work, but they've worked in every continent but Antarctica. Didn't get the penguins to come to workshop, so kind of left and didn't go there. So, but literally been a ton in South Africa, Johannesburg, Cape Town. I've worked in Dubai. I've worked with people through the Middle East. There is no country that cannot do these principles. Do we have the exact team there? No, but we'll help you find them. And we are at the greatest time in the history, the most volatile time. But volatile times are when you, entrepreneurs can pick up the greatest opportunities in the history of the world. The greatest companies have been started in downturns of almost every economic downturn. Great companies are formed. And you say, well, how does that happen? Because I have to have resources. This is where you got to band together, be a team. And I expect to be on your team by the end of this broadcast. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't apologize for asking. And Raymond will know that. There's no one who's going to teach you what I teach you. And sometimes you're going to be really frustrated with me. You're going to say, damn, she makes us work hard, Raymond. And it's not hard work. It's different work. So I really want to clarify that because I'm going to really rub some of the things that you have been taught and how you think about money. They're completely wrong. And they're actually being reinforced even worse than wrong in this economy. And we're going to just talk about the truth and how rich people do it. And my Millionaire Makers theme stands. How do you act, think, and make money the way the wealthy do? We band together and we support each other. And right now with the unemployment, it surged in March and April. In May, we came back down. June, July figures were only at we had 38 million Americans unemployed. We're down to an 11% is how fast our economy recovered from that, how fast the market recovered. I got 4, 5, 6 X's in the stock market when it crashed on March 17th to 23rd. So I'm just curious where you are. So where I want you listening from, knowing I'm going to invite you to a workshop. Raymond already said, we start a workshop tomorrow night, 5:00 Pacific. Sorry, you folks that are out in the other parts of the world, but I have people from all over the world. We put it kind of our best shot in the middle of a day. Tomorrow, though, we start with an expert team at 5 Pacific, and it only goes for 2 hours. Then all day Thursday and all day Friday, we work together in a marketplace. And if you do everything we say, you're going to walk out with money. And Toronto, because of Raymond, is killing it. We have a chiropractor in Toronto. She made, I think, $4,300 on our first broadcast. We've had people making $2,300, $2,500, $1,800, and some people only make $20. My point is you're going to learn how to make money like this on a Zoom, Skype, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I don't care how you do it. We're going to go through all the channels. How do you make money online? How do you sustain cash flow every day? Because it is the most important thing you do in this economy is consistently make money. You say, well, I'm an employee sitting on, whatever social, unemployment or whatever that is. So this is your opportunity to change from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. And even if you go back to work, never lose these skills. I mean, God knows where our world's going, and you better know how to negotiate. You better know how to sell. You better have offers, and you better know how to make money as fast as you can. And I have dialed this in since 2007. I'm known for this marketplace technology, and we're going to start tomorrow at 5:00. And my goal is you're going to make money, and we're going to bonus you through the weekend to continue to make money. And we're going to tally you on Monday. So I want you all in my workshop. I want you on Monday reporting hundreds, if not thousands of dollars that you made new cash because of our introduction, because of Raymond. And then you're all going to text him and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's get to it. What do we have now? Let's talk about where we are. Oh, two more little fun facts, just because the guy who said I was broke. I was a millionaire in 1999. I woke up on January 8th and took one of those little tests, and I was going to be a mom, and he didn't want to be a dad. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to go. I already knew how to make money, but there's a lot of things I didn't know. So I hired somebody 20 years my senior to mentor me. And in 6 months, I was a millionaire. And I took what he did for me and I put it into years of study. And I'm going to show you how we make 3 to 5 year millionaires. And so I have never dropped. In fact, the business in the marketplace that I'm going to teach you, my first year in business in 2000, 2001 on my own was me and 2 assistants, really who were setters for me. They were setting appointments for sales. We did about 380,000. The next year we did 780, 790. And then it was 1.4 to 3.5, and we have never looked back. And heading into 10 plus million, I've made hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in my lifetime. There are many years that we were making $30, $34 million just in one company. That's not all the other companies. So making money is not the problem. It's the system and the integration. What I call your financial infrastructure is where most of you don't have a clue. And it's not your fault. You were taught wrong or you weren't taught at all. So where we are today is the most indiscriminate crash in the history of our lives. And I'm saying in the history of our lives. 2008, 9, 10 is a walk in the park compared to what we're up against right now. And so why is it indiscriminate? Any age, any race, color, marital status, social status, I don't care who you are. If you have the will to make money and be ethical in the way you do it, right? And follow the laws of which you do it so you're not doing crazy stuff, you can make money. And then let's talk about one more other indiscriminate category, an indiscriminate category called asset classes. You say, well, how do I make money? 2008, 9, 10 clearly was a mortgage and a real estate problem. This one, it's wide open. The playing field is enormous. So not only like this isn't a baby boomer problem or a Gen X problem or a millennial problem. And this isn't a real estate or a mortgage problem. This is a all hands on deck. The world shut down. Never in the history of our, I think, livelihood has the world shut down. So you say, well, then where's the opportunities? They're everywhere. They're sitting right next door. They're probably 3 blocks away. And because you're in COVID coma, that's what I call most people. They're in COVID coma. They've gotten so relaxed. They gained their 15 on quarantine and they're sitting around. They don't want to go to the gym because you might have to wear a mask. You might have to go back in quarantine. I don't want to travel. Like this is a time for you to start, like, who are you? There's such a value set that you've got to look to yourself and say, who the hell am I? And better, who am I going to be on the other side of this? Because I have an opportunity right now to change the trajectory of my life. And I'm speaking to every one of you all over the world. You totally can if you want to, or you can sit back and say, oh, it's so much work. Oh my God. You know, then I'm just not your rodeo. I am not your person to mentor you. You get up and say, I'm having a bad day. I'll say, so? Let's make it a great day. You have 1 minute to change. And Raymond knows I do this Brian Tracy thing called 7 minutes of therapy. It's called So What, Now What? You have about 2 minutes to complain about what's going on. You got the rest of the 4 minutes to go forward. So what happened now? What are you going to do about it? And that's going to happen in about 7 minutes. And I want you to notice how your reaction to that. So if you were like, oh my gosh, she's so intense. Absolutely. We live life that way. And not like it's harsh or it's rude or it's inconsiderate of others. It's the driving source of what are you here to do and what are you here to accomplish? So you've got to be big mission driven people and you've got to really want your community to survive this. right? There's so much going on. So let's talk about those asset classes again. So I'm just going to give you 6 easy ones. I'll talk about some of the things. So Bitcoin came up. So I'm going to call that digital currency because it's not just Bitcoin, right? Digital currency, it is going to be our new way of life. It's not today. It's been here for 10 years. There's ATMs all over the world. London, tons of you from London. You got over 137 ATMs that can exchange Bitcoin, right? South Africa, you have them. Dubai, you have them. I have 8 just within 100 miles of me. And I'm in the Lake Tahoe, Reno, Nevada area. I live in northern Nevada. So is where we're going. And don't think, like, this is where I need you to like wake up. And I want you to write down a big word, make a poster for yourself, is common sense. Now, if you weren't raised with common sense, then you lean into Raymond and my common sense because yours might be a little skewed and off base. So there's just a common sense to this, right? Is there a common sense that says Canada and US all of a sudden announced their new digital dollar? Oh, bullshit. They have had digital coin and digital systems ready for this very moment to then say, oh, let's not maybe touch cash. Let's go do that. Anyway, I could talk about that one forever. And so as we get to know each other, each of these, the asset classes I talk about, we're going to dig into. So number one, digital currency is going to come. It's here and you're going to have to engage in it. And I have on the US side, and it's available to Canadians. We're working on the rest of the world. But right now, this digital currency, it's IRS, which means it's like your Revenue of Canada, and SEC, which is like your ASICs in Australia and your security teams. Qualified in the United States, the only one. And that team you will meet this Friday at our broadcast. So it's extremely secure. There's so many Ponzi schemes in the digital currency world. So digital currency, number one, absolutely can make money in that right now. Stock market, you might have already kind of lost your chance. I know we're going to have at least another downturn. So your money needs to be in the right place to take advantage of it. Like go. So the minute, like we are talking, like I talk all the time on broadcasts, and I have a Facebook group, a Millionaires in Training group. And I'm constantly training you every day what you need to be doing and when. So we watched that March crash happen. So we were ready. Like we were in cash. We were cashed out. We were in the right position to hit go buttons and do a 4 and sometimes a 6. And in one stock, we did a 10X. So when you're like, oh, I lost 33% of the market because you were in COVID coma, not paying attention. So we're that community where we're going to have you pay attention to your money every day. Because you know what? You're doing transactions in your life every day. You're buying coffee, you're paying your mortgage, you're paying your rent, paying utility bills, paying your phone bill, paying for Zoom. You're doing whatever you need to pay for. So you're totally unconscious about those choices and your P&Ls and your balance sheets and your cash flow, or you're completely planned. I want you planned. So digital currency, enormous. Stock market, enormous. Businesses are golden right now. Real estate and mortgage-backed securities, enormous. They're going to be like, I'm picking up so many fun businesses in real estate right now. And then the two that are not going to be left behind is the new other asset classes of hemp and cannabis. So in the United States, we are not federally legal. Canada, sorry, but your government kind of screwed up the launch, and Bay Street kind of screwed up your launches. A lot of what we call pump and dumps. A lot of people made money and a lot of you didn't. We're privatized here in the United States. So there is enormous opportunity while we're private and not federal to make a lot of money in cannabis. COVID has caused the rise of marijuana usage, even above alcohol use in our country. I don't know where it is in your countries or where your legalization is. But indiscriminate means you can buy anything if you know how to do it. And so you're sitting there saying, well, I don't know how to do it. That's why I exist. I'm going to teach you. Our teams are going to teach you. How do you assess? How do you find them? How do you find deals? Like just yesterday, I was up at the lake in one of my favorite little areas, my little shopping area. And there's this beautiful, beautiful Italian private coffee shop. And I told him last week, I said, how are you doing? And, he told me, and I said, no, financially. I said, you can tell me, like, I'm a financial and business strategist. You can tell me how you're doing. He said, I don't know if I'll make it. I gave him my private cell phone and I said, don't you dare close these doors. I said, there's a lot of ways that I can help you with other capital to keep you alive. Do not close these doors. Yesterday I went there, doors closed. So there are so many opportunities, but if you're not talking and you're not looking because you're sitting watching Netflix or Hulu or whatever it is you do in your country to stay in a coma around this and just hope it all will pass, it's not going to happen. You need to get out. You need to engage. And then who do you want to be on the other side of this? There's too much to do. Everything is on sale. And you can buy or invest in any of it to save your neighborhood. So let's get started. How are you going to do it? Number one, you're going to keep making money. And what do you have to do first? So I'm going to talk about your personal checkbook. So if you haven't been doing this since March, you need to do this and you're a little behind, but get caught up quickly. Stop the bleeding, meaning get as lean as you can. Meaning, and I had already sold a huge conference facility that I had, 12,000 square feet, beautiful conference facility, put 128 people in a building, did it every month, every other week, gone. I had another small rental for another company, gone. I'm down to one small office, consolidated, tight. You want to look thoroughly through your credit card bills. What don't you need now? And I'm not talking, because a lot of you got to hear this differently. What I'm asking you to do is stop the bleeding and to get as lean as you can because of the next, there's a typo on there, means pivot to new money. We forgot the T on there. So pivot to new money means get lean so you can consolidate cash. There's still a lot of forgiveness around the world in credit cards and banking as far as doing payments, but be very careful to not kill your credit. As you join into our community and come work with us, we're going to give you scripts to talk to any of your mortgage companies, your debt companies. If you're a renter, a landlord, if you're a landlord, a renter, how do you talk to each other to preserve each other and help each other instead of fight with each other, right? There's a reality to this. Some of you don't know how to make money, which is why, Raymond has me here with you to teach you how do you make fast money in a marketplace. And then, right, the whole goal is to get as much money as you can. Why? To position for new growth, to do this indiscriminate cash. And there's so many programs around the world available for you to get huge lines of credit. I mean, I've had people in Canada, Australia, the UK. Those are the countries that I'm New Zealand, where they were able to get $100,000, $200,000, $250,000 of business lines of credits, not only to keep them alive, but then you can use them to grow. And I'm not saying like go spend on stuff you don't need to spend. I'm talking about buy that coffee shop I just told you about. Subways are getting killed across the world. A lot of franchise food outlets that are renting, if they don't own their building and they're renting, they're getting killed right now. And so you need to be in those conversations. I'm going to share that conversation with you in a moment. So right now, what do? You stop your bleeding, pivot, put a T. Sorry about that on my PowerPoint. Pivot to new cash. Get as much as you can. Extend your credit card limits. I had people get limits to over $500,000. You say, well, I don't want to go $500,000 in debt because that's what you're trained. You're not going into debt. You're going into use good debt. And a lot of you, if you have high interest rates on your credit card, tell them this is this time. You got a lot of forgiveness. Say, I need that interest rate to be at 1% and 2% and 3%. This is a new business time, right? So I'm going to give you new talk tracks, new scripts, new strategies that most of you have never been taught how to contribute instead of just take from the economy that you live in, wherever you live in the world. It's so critical. It's such an important time. Here's why this is such a damaging part. And, when we're through this a little further, I'm going to have actually third and a fourth, right now you see a T on my screen where it says employee income and corporate income. I'm going to have another one that's going to say digital income. And I'm going to have another one. There's a place we're going to go back to if we don't go forward. And so let's just stay where we are right now. But this is where we are and what got us here this is what we're taught. 1933 is when the industrial age was formed. A lot of countries were at war. The industrial age then spun out the educational system, which spun out the pharmaceutical system, the media systems, the political structures, and the world banks. All of this has caused, kind of where we all are. And it's not a U.S.-centric thing. It happens around the world. Some of you, I love that there's somebody from Malta on here. You guys are the most one of the best progressive countries in the world because you're already living and breathing and running a country, and your people in the country are probably the most versed into digital currency. So well done on that. And South America is going to be taking the next lead, Medellin, Colombia, by storm. And then it's going to continue around the world. I think Europe will probably pick it up faster than others. And believe it or not, U.S. will probably be the trailer. They typically are. We still have checks in our financial systems. The little check where you write and then you mail things in the mail. Yes, believe it or not, the world power of the United States still has, some things in their financial structure that are a little archaic. So these are on kind of Canadian norms. So this is what we're taught. We're taught overall, here's what you're going to see. Go to school and get a job. and then give a lot of that money from your job back to a retirement structure, a pension structure, of which then you get taxed to pieces and you get to live on the little crumbs after. And a lot of you that are in the social countries, you get pummeled in taxes. We're still a capitalist, right? We're still where we're going to make money, right? We get to spend it on deductions and then we get taxed. So a lot of our international higher net worth clients do create companies in the United States, trusts and structures like that. So I'm talking very serious stuff. I'm not talking, in the next few days in our marketplace, I'm going to talk about thousands of dollars. And then those of you who are serious, we're going to talk about really setting your life up for wealth, right? Not just for a little gain of money, wealth and protected wealth, no matter what happens in this lovely world that we're living in right now. So here's the horrible statistics. If you have an average salary as a Canadian of $169,000 or more, you are considered the top 25% of the wealthy in the Canadian countries. Yep. That's all you had to make. That's the top 25. Now, if you're in America, it's 69,000. Right. And you can kind of average, throughout the rest of the countries where you are. My point is, it's not a lot of money to be at the top 25 income earners in your country. And here's what I know, and I've heard from all of you. I don't feel rich. Well, here's why. You are taxed to pieces. And I just put up to 56 because that's kind of an average. So you make it and then you're taxed. And then you put money into these qualified plans, right? There are RSPs in Canada, there are TFSAs, there are 401ks in America, there's superannuations in Australia. You can tell I've taught all over the world. So you have some version of this. It might have a different word, but in principle, you make it, you're taxed, you put more into either pre-tax or after-tax programs or vehicles. Then, because you're such a good little employee, you get to go on a holiday or a vacation, and we're going to reward you. Right. And, I'm speaking from an entrepreneur because entrepreneurs work and talk to entrepreneurs. Employees talk and work with employees. So employees work for me. And I'm not talking about this as some status thing. I'm encouraging you to be the boss, be an entrepreneur. You can still be an employee. If you still have a great job and you want to go back to work, do that and be an entrepreneur. And I'm going to share in the next few seconds why. Because then you're taught that credit and credit cards and debt are bad. Now, you got a whole tangle. If anything that I'm going to work with you on, it's going to be one of our biggest, struggles because I'm right and you just don't know yet. Credit cards are how digital currency is going to be. You're going to put in what looks like a credit card. It's an ATM card. It's a debit card. It's a retrieval card that's going to have all sorts of cold storage, and you're going to have all sorts of different cards. And if you have a weird psychology about being in debt, I can promise you, those of you who want to take a millionaire plan in the next year or two, you're going to do, and you do what I just said, which is conserve your cash and get ready for new growth. You're going to take on debt, right? Good debt to become a millionaire. You might be $500,000, $1 million in good debt to become a millionaire. And then over time, you pay off the good debt, but it's leverage debt. It's smart debt. It's using other people's money. See, a lot of you hear the term use other people's money, use other people's credit, and you actually have no freaking idea what that means, right? Because you don't. You have it all tangled up in your head. A lot of people have this whole COVID thing tangled up in their head, right? Political issues and financial issues and health issues. Let's uncollapse them and put them in their category and how they actually work together and can support walking out of this versus colluding it all, right? And you have to keep them separate, put them in their own buckets. So let's just talk about money. Money and debt. Let's just talk about debt. And I want you to write this down. Debt is a cost of money. That's it. It has no weird emotional attachment. None. Zero. I mean, when this whole thing was happening in March, I did my first what's called virtual meetup and marketplace. And that's what I'm inviting you to start with me tomorrow. If you don't go tomorrow, we have to wait a month until August 12th. We can't wait that long. I need you making money. Some of you can make tens of thousands of dollars between tomorrow and August 12th. Don't wait till August 12th. You say, well, I'm busy. Now I need you to evaluate your decision making. Busy doing what? Is that thing making you money or is that convenient? You say, yeah, but I'm obligated to someone else. Then renegotiate your obligation. Like some of you have got to start thinking and being in common sense and getting some sequence in order. So I just gave you 3 massive tips, right? You've got to start thinking in your decision making, right? You've got to have some common sense in it. And if you don't feel like you can trust your common sense, then you trust ours until you feel confident enough to have yours back. And then you put it in the right order, which is sequencing. So it's critical. You've got to have decision making, you've got to have sequencing, and you've got to have some common sense, right? So not difficult to do this, but it's got to be in the right order. Debt is the cost of money. When this all happened in April, I did my first 3-day show and I said, let's go make some money together. People, let's go. Let's prove it. The group made over $30,000. The group, not me, the group. You as a client made money. And so then with that, people started doing what I said. Go out and look, go out and shop in your community, ask businesses, how are you doing? How are you financially doing? And one of our clients during that time found a Ford dealership. And that is a vehicle dealership here in America and was in Texas. And it was on sale for, I don't know, a lot more money than we got it for. I think it was like $1 million, maybe off in those numbers a little bit. And I said, don't buy yet. It's too soon. It's too soon, too soon. And then we came back in May. We all revisited and we stay together. We stay in this conversation. So don't think it's a program. I'm going to teach you a lifestyle. Write that down. I don't do a program. Laurel has no programs. I have a lifestyle I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you how to live like the wealthy, which means we got to talk about it. We have to sort out your interpretations, your misunderstandings, your assumptions can be wrong. And if you're a little bit wrong, you're off. So anyway, fast forward around June, this Ford dealership was on sale. We could buy 50% of it for $500,000. And when we turn it around, we can have the whole thing. And it's a buyout for a very small amount of money more. So the client came to me and he said, well, I got to get $500,000. And I said, good, you're going to borrow it. You're going to go into debt is the way you'd hear it. He's like, go into debt? I said, yeah, it's called convertible debt. You're going to go borrow other people's money, give them a nice interest rate, give them 10%. And anyway, I continued to work with him and his lawyers and he did it. He closed it July 1st. A Ford dealership that's going to make millions of dollars. But yes, he had to go into debt $500,000 to go do it. I have people doing that with, franchise food places. I have people doing that all over hair salons, auto body shops. That's what my clients do. You find cool stuff in your community that you can't imagine not living with. If we don't help save your community and where you live and you don't learn to do it, God knows what your community is going to look like. How many restaurants you're going to have left? I can just give you a little insight what happened when Haiti was totally pummeled by that hurricane, right? And that tsunami. There was like 21 sweet little restaurants right on the water. There's only 9 that came back up. So we can't be that world. We can't be that world that's just got shut down and no one's giving financial help. You can do it even though you don't know how. You're going to circle up. You're going to have me on your team. I have 28 of financial experts. This is just not me, by the way. You're getting a whole team of multimillionaires that you get to work with. So cool. So debt is your friend. Long story about that one. Sorry about that. I'm not sorry. I needed to teach you that. Retirement. I use that word because you all get what it means, but here's what the word really is. It's an agricultural word. It's not a financial word. It means to put cattle to pasture to die. It's pathetic. It's the worst ever. You're not a cow and you're not going to die and you're not going to retire in my watch. So we don't retire in that model and you don't have fixed tax filings. So if you can imagine, this is what we're taught, right? Go to school, get good grades, do a ton of taxation, put money into something that isn't controlled by you, and then maybe take a few holidays because that's what you do, or a vacation. Like my kids didn't even know the word vacation. We take business trips, right? And then you're going to have a very different relationship to other people's money, debt, and credit cards and digital currency. You're not going to retire. You're not going to have, this is what we're not going to do. Now, if you live like that, and this is a great little life for you, great. Now let's look how it really works. Right? Partnerships, corporations, cooperatives. In America, they're called LLCs, limited partnerships, S Corp, C Corps. In Canada, they're even numbered companies. In Australia, they're limited proprietaries, proprietary limiteds, all sorts of versions and names. Bottom line is your company makes money. I want you to write this down. Just look at these two right across from each other. Companies make money. We're going to teach you to live on the right side of life. Companies make money. Individuals get taxed. Let's keep going. Now you get deductions. These are Canadian. In Canada, you have 27 pages of tax deductions. That's current as of 2020. In America, there are 83,000 pages of tax deductions. So you make it, you get deductions. And then you put money into more deductions, which they're called qualified vehicles or solo 401ks or Roths or TFSAs. They're different vehicles that you put money in either pre or after tax, depending on what the strategy you pick. Now look at this. You don't go on holidays and vacations. You go on business trips. And guess what? When real estate is part of your portfolio, you can go on real estate business trips all over the world and write them off. I'm also in the wine business because I love wine. So I wrote off my hobby, my habit, and I can go to any vineyard in the world. Hence been to South Africa a few times, right? Been to all over Australia, amazing places. My point is I'm going to teach you how to live your life like wealthy people do. You wonder how they get to do some elaborate things is because they live in a different structure than you live in. And you just haven't been taught. Schools don't teach you this. There's nothing illegal about this. When you think about the medical system, there's the Western traditional, and then there is the alternatives. There are the traditional financial institutes. There's 5 banks in Canada, the primary banks of Australia, right? There's a variety of financial houses here in America. And then there's the alternatives. So we're teaching you the alternatives. There's nothing wrong with it. It's how wealthy people have lived forever. My son is going to a great university here in the United States, getting a finance and accounting degree, calls me consistently from his classes, says, Mom, I'm not being taught anything that you teach me. They're teaching me to be an employee, to be an accounting manager, to have a finance, job. I said, I know. So go find the smartest people and bring them home to work on our team. So you're going as a CEO, finding teammates and learning what those people are going to do for you and what their jobs are going to be for you. So I'm a total fan, and he's playing football. So he's going, for a social experiment, athletic experiment, and to get a degree, but coming home to live corporate life. When he was 18, in most countries, when you're 18, you're a legal adult. That's how serious I am about getting a company. When your kids are 18, they should have a corporation. They should have a business. My son is tutored. He's a national ranked ski instructor or skier. So he's a ski instructor. He has all sorts of ways that he can make money in a company. So that's how serious we are. It's not about how much money you make to have a company. It's, are you intending to be wealthy? Your company makes money. You do deductions. You put more money away. You do a deduction called a business trip. You use debt and credit cards properly and very accurately. And you don't retire. You have Freedom Day. And Freedom Day is a number. And some of you say, well, 1 million, it seems like a lot. Well, then be 100,000-aire. At least be 100,000-aire. And then you're going to file taxes throughout the year. So you have multiple tax year ends. So I file taxes in Canada. I have Canada companies. I have companies in Australia. I've had companies in South Africa. I've had companies in the UK. So you're going to file throughout the year whenever the country needs you to and wherever you and your strategy allows. So many of you are hearing this going, oh my God, that sounds like a lot of work. It's not work. It's not work. It's just different activity. And I want you to hear that loudly, because some of you hear and you're like, Laurel, you're like a fire hose of information. Well, you know what? A lot of you have the same gift. Like, I think all of us have a God-given gift and talent. And so this is how I link it to The Secret. Is all of us have a God-given gift and talent. And mine, I just stood in line a long time when God was passing out gifts for this thing called money. And my understanding of it, my understanding of the patterns, my understanding of how the human behavior around the patterns. And we're taught one thing, but we are not taught to live wealthy. So you're struggling as an employee to get rich, and it's not going to work. As an employee, it's a fixed income. Like, it's going to go slow. As an entrepreneur and your business, you can have an unlimited income. Right now, right? You have a huge opportunity to do both. And if you really, really get good at being an entrepreneur, dump the income and just be a great entrepreneur and employ a lot of other people. That's going to pick up the economy. So this is my challenge. I always say, my challenge for those of you who wanted to be an entrepreneur and the freedom to go live on a boat, live where you want, live wherever you want, and do the work that you want from wherever you are. It's genius. So our goal and our talk track really from now on is, my whole goal is to teach you this corporate lifestyle. How do you live wherever you are in the world in the corporate lifestyle and in this corporate structure? And for those of you who really want your job, and let's be honest, like, I have a lot of military, I have cops, I have teachers, I have Secret Service. I have so many people. I mean, military, Pakistan have been clients of mine. I mean, I got all sorts of clients. And some of them need to have and be in jobs. Firefighters, for example. We just had a huge fire. 20,000 acres were burned just out in our desert by the mountains. We needed those firefighters, and they had jobs. But you know what those firefighters do? They have a company, and they have handyman services. They have painting services. They have cleaning services. They do direct sales businesses. There's so many amazing direct sales businesses all over the world that you can do. They've wrote books. They've done all sorts of amazing things. So there are places where doing both makes sense. But if you really want to get wealthy and sustain wealth and have freedom, You have to live on the right side of this conversation. So from here on out, we're going to talk about the right side of the conversation. So for decades now, I have put together strategies and plans of how to make millionaires. And so when I became a millionaire in 1999, mine was in real estate and gas and oil. I love gas and oil, the tax incentives, what it provides and what it produces. Those of you that are super green, I just invite you to understand the asset class itself before you judge it. It's not going anywhere. There's petroleum that is necessary. There's all sorts of alternatives. Again, not having that conversation. Just be open to explore your thinking and judgments before you have all the facts and before you have the facts from multimillionaires and people who have actually lived and breathed. And like Raymond said early on this broadcast, I don't just teach it, I do it. I am living and breathing deep inside of this, from helping that gentleman and helping actually my son become part of that Ford dealership. We have bought things like the Raider fan base, the Oakland Raider football team now is the Vegas Raiders, brand new stadium, brand new opportunity. And those fan base, you know what they do? They buy memberships, they buy merchandise, they buy masks that have the Vegas Raiders on it. They buy tequila that has the Black Hole tequila. They buy stuff. And it is a business. And so acquired some of that during this, a little prior to this COVID experience. Real estate deals, they're everywhere. So many people around the world are not going to be able to maintain their mortgage. Unless you become an entrepreneur and make enough money to pay your mortgage and hold on to what you have, you're going to lose it. So you have got to band together and get the wealthy people. And even if you're not wealthy, but you want this wealthy conversation, we're inviting you to be in conversations. We do a lot of what we call fly on the wall conversations, which means you get to listen to how deals get done. Nowhere in the history of my mentoring, and I've been mentored by the greatest people in the world, the greatest people in the world. You name them, I bet they've probably been a mentor. And right now I have billionaire world-class economists guiding me to make sure that what I'm telling you is accurate. So this isn't just a canned speech and a talk. This gets modified all the time, given what I'm doing. And I'm just helping so many people do amazing stuff right now. And you need to be doing amazing stuff. All of us need to band together to create an amazing place for us to live in again. So studying millionaires has been, I'm going to say, a pastime. I love it. And so many of you, you don't have the model, right? You have some pieces, and here's the sequence. Look at the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's in an infinity loop, because from the day you're on the planet to the day you walk off the planet, you will deal with money every day. Now, you're going to do it unconsciously. So just think about how aware you've been of your spending. Do you just walk around with the debit card? Do you walk around with the credit card and once a month pay bills and then that's it? See, here's the difference between the employee, right, that left side of the conversation versus the right side of the conversation. The right side of the conversation, we live our life by P&L statements, which are profit and loss, and cash flow statements. Most of you live by a bank balance. You live by a checkbook. So you're making decisions saying, oh my gosh, I don't have any money in the bank today. And you make your decision based on your bank balance versus your projection of what you can make. See, what you're going to do over the next 48 hours, starting tomorrow at 5 o'clock Pacific, we start our marketplace. And we're going to have you build a revenue model, a projection of what you could make. How much can you make in a month? Can you make 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 a month? Right? So when you start making decisions knowing that you may not have a lot of money in your account today, but it's coming, you absolutely will make different decisions. Like for 13, almost 14 years, I owned a private aircraft. Now, Trump did some amazing aviation taxation, and so I don't have an aircraft. I got to sell it tax-free. My pilot bought it tax-free, a whole different strategy. All these aviation tax benefits are happening, and COVID has surged private aircraft sales. So anyway, there's so much to do right now. I hope I'm getting a lot of you excited because there is so much you could be doing, so much I could teach you. You just got to like raise your hand and say, I want to learn. And I want to know how many of you, I haven't seen a lot of messages out there. How many of you want to learn and what do you want to learn? Like, let's get to it, people. Come on, come on. So what I want you to notice is 1, 2, 3, 4 is how I teach it to you. You have to make money. Right? And notice all that stuff I'm going to teach you, from cash flow to marketing to sales. And by the way, if you want this matrix, Raymond's team can send it out to you. We can take a picture, make a poster, put it on your wall and watch it every day and say, what do I need to think about and do in the money making category? And so if I'm going to say, let's go make money, you better not tell me I'm going to like get a job. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about you picking up your skills, your gifts, your talents, and monetizing you and your message. And you say, I don't have a message. Oh, give me 7 minutes and I'll get that message. And for you, single parents, I walked into parenting being a single mom. I told you that story. I want to be a mom. You didn't want to be a dad. Pretty simple math. I'm going to be a mom. So in 6 months, became a millionaire. I drugged that little kid. My son's named Logan. Raymond Aaron met Logan when he was little. My daughter, years ago, went to one of Raymond's seminars, and he inspired her to write a book. So she started a whole journal. She got up in front of the room. She'll forward your book if she wants. She's 13, beautiful, amazing, smart little entrepreneur. And all of you have the ability to make money. You just haven't been taught, and you haven't been taught to ask for money. And you women, a man is not your plan. They're very handy dandy. I love my Canadian man, but he is not my plan for financial freedom. And some of you, that's your plan. You say, well, what about my kids? Take them with you. So you don't have a professional life and a personal life. You have an integrated life. And you need to stop separating your life and compartmentalizing these weird things. You've got to put money in your household. You spend it every day. So stop doing it unconsciously. Make a plan. Let me help you with your financial infrastructure. How do you make money? And what's the business going to be? And then let's go down to number 2. How do you keep the money? Well, if you're going to be a sole trader, you might as well not even begin. I'm going to make you talk to our team. You'll talk to some lawyers. We'll get you connected to experts in your country. And you're going to have entities. You're going to have trusts. There's qualified plans. There's all sorts of amazing vehicles for you to keep your money. And it's not just the stock market, and it's not just real estate. Because then let's go up to number 3. The alternatives are where most people make a lot of money. And let's not leave behind your business. I call it your cash machine, is one of the greatest assets you'll ever own, is your own business and your own database. And when I was 21 years old and I started engaging in all this learning and teaching, I'll never forget Bob Proctor told me, the person with the greatest, most active database wins. And I actually didn't know what the hell he was talking about, but it made some sense, kind of some common sense. So I just started accumulating names, phone numbers, and emails, and addresses, and name, phone number, and email. I put them in this little database. And here we are years later. And I have, like Raymond has, and a lot of us that have been very successful, massive databases of people who follow us. They trust us. They know us. They've watched us grow. My database has watched me from becoming a millionaire, having my son. That's kind of how my database began, a single mom, straight up. And then I raised my son to be a millionaire before he was 10 on paper. On paper, meaning assets. No, the little kid wasn't running around with $1 million in a bank account. There's strategies to do all that. So and then I have my daughter. My database has watched me get married, divorce my daughter's father. My database has watched me travel the world. They have met me around the world. My database has watched me marry my Canadian husband. As Raymond said, we invited the whole world. 6 continents, 380 people came to our wedding from all over the world. I invited, if you want to come. We're going to marry Banff, Canada, this day, this time. And Raymond knows it showed up. It was insane. It was awesome. But that's how we roll. We roll very I just want you to hear my yes energy. I wrote another book called Yes Energy. So some of you live by such weird rules. And I got to say, are they generational rules? Who taught you these rules that you live by? A lot of them are inherited. And I want you, in a very smart, respectful way, to reevaluate them. Is this really who you want to be and how you want to live? Most people live where they live because it's generational. I've had a huge generational 4 or 5 family. I don't even know how many generations big farm family in Nebraska. I left at 17. Haven't been back, right? I went around the world. Chevron took me around the world. The Kiyosaki organization took me around the world. I took myself around the world. I took my daughter at 7 years old around the world for her birthday on airplanes and stopped in different places around the world. We went to Africa, went to France, we went to London, went to Perth, went to Sydney, went up to Kuala Lumpur, back to Hawaii, and then back to the United States. So that's how we had a business trip. We made money. She had fun. She had her own businesses. I'm just telling you, there is so much you can do, and you live by weird rules. I'm just going to say right now, yes, right here. I just had this pulled up. My husband, right? We're trying to get him immigrated into the United States. Don't even talk to him about immigration in the United States. Very difficult when you have money. Interesting when you don't. That whole thing just drives me crazy. Got up here, traveler advisors. You in Canada are going to say, Laurel, you want me to come to the United States? I'm going to have to come back in quarantine and say, yeah, that's how it is today. So just like you have to get up and brush your teeth and, eat healthy and do what you got to do, you're going to do it. So some of you notice your rules, and some of you from health reasons shouldn't do it. But a lot of you, you're young and healthy and you need to do it. So I want you to challenge where you put boundaries around yourself, not around just the COVID thing, around just doing things. just buying a US property, buying something in the UK. I've got tons of London, UK clients and tons of amazing people there. I have tons of people in Australia and New Zealand, quite a few in the South Asian countries, a lot in the Middle East, tons in Africa. In fact, there's one from Ghana. We're coming to Ghana. I'm part of a huge program in Boise, Idaho. In fact, I'm going to invite you to do that as a bonus for coming to our marketplace. We're bringing our very environmental ICF block to Ghana, and we're going to help build villages. We're going to help build homes, and they are hurricane worthy. They are tornado, earthquake worthy. They're the most extraordinary new building product that's not timber. And so somebody say, oh my gosh, she has gas and oil and now she has environmental products. Yeah, I have carbon trees that I've had in Australia. I have so many different assets that I have learned about, invested in, and played with, I'm going to say, because I have fun doing this stuff. And I want you to get to the point where making money and keeping money is just part of what you do. And you spend your time creating, what do you want to invest in? Do you want to put more money into your business? Do you want to buy businesses? Right now, everything's for sale. Do you want to buy residential assisted living facilities? They're on sale. RV parks all over the world on sale, right? Storage facilities on sale. College campuses are going to be on sale, folks, because a lot of college campuses are not going to put their kids back on the campus. Guess what? I say it on every broadcast because I want to be the one known to predict it. College campuses and shopping malls are going to become residential assisted living facilities for elder care. And it's where people are going to live. They can lap there. They can go to the gym there. They have a cafeteria there. They have learning facilities there. They have everything they need to have people have a great later life experience together and safer. Cannabis, I got to talk about it. I'm here in Nevada. I own licenses. Nevada's not giving anymore. Privatization of licenses in the United States are high valued assets. So love that. I mean, just look at all that fun stuff that's up there. Cash. You want cash? You need digital currency. There is so much that I can't wait to teach you about. And then you come up with money rules. I'm not a financial planner, like I said in the beginning. I'm just an educator. I'm going to teach you how all of this comes together into a master plan. You're going to make it. You're going to keep it. You're going to invest it. And then I am going to be a huge part of your team. Raymond's going to keep writing books and helping you progress in a lot of your strategies. I'm going to help you with your strategies on the money. We're going to be mentors. We're going to be coaches. We do masterminds all the time. I'm just putting together right now. I've had so many high-powered women from around the world, and we're going to put together just this power hour of women into their own mastermind. I'm going to be on there. I'm going to launch it and I'm going to start it. And then they're going to go off on their own and they're going to do it all Napoleon Hill style masterminding. And then we have a bunch of guys who are doing some stuff, and we have some co-eds and we have some single families. So you're going to find your tribe in my tribe as we learn more about you, what you need, what you don't want. I mean, those of you in South Africa, I've helped people move to Canada. I've helped people get visas. I've helped EB5. Those of you who want to come and like legally move into the United States, you need $1.5 to $2 million to do it. But those of you that know high net worth people and want to move in, some of you at this moment want to say, we'll see. But there's so much that you can tell my brain is full of this knowledge and it's here to give it to you. I did not consume this, so I keep it. And I want to just go a tangent really quick. All of you have got to write a book. A book is your brains on paper. A book makes you credible. I have 5 New York Times. I wouldn't run for a New York Times again. It's not the time. I ran for them in 2006 to 12. When that's what it was. Then Amazon emerged and everybody wants to be an Amazon bestseller. So go for one of those. Our kids' book, we're going for an Amazon. We might go for a few other categories just because I have access to getting into those. But for the most part, you want it to be your funnel activity. You want it to be the top of your funnel. You'll see Kyle is my partner, my Air Force partner in my book of the kids. We're pre-selling our book for $20. Right? You'll see how we do it. We're very transparent. We're going to show you how do you launch and monetize, right? Raymond will help you write them. I'm going to teach you to monetize the heck out of them and into a 6-7 figure business. But you got to get those brains on paper, right? So don't overthink what a book is, right? And don't do it because your heart and soul says you need it. Make sure people want to buy your knowledge. People want to buy my knowledge. I'm full of it. I got all sorts of stuff in this brain, and it's here for you at your taking. When you work with me closely, you get my cell phone, my WhatsApp, my Skype, however you want to talk to me, and we get going. So I can't get you out of sequence. So this matrix is designed for us to keep going back to as our imprint of how we're going to help you make money. Now, let's get ready for tomorrow because I'm expecting you all to show up tomorrow. Starts at 5 o'clock. We only go for 2 hours. You're going to be assigned a team. You're going to have a coach. You're going to have strategists and you're going to have instructors. So we bring a ton of people to our marketplace because we have to teach you how to make money. And here's how it starts. You got to have a new business model. Some of you say, we already have a business model. Well, let's validate it, because if that model's not making you money regularly, we have to fix it. So you need to never, ever, ever, ever stop generating income. And some of you have some interesting coaching where you go off for a month and do some random thing and it's odd. You should never not have what I call daily fast cash. Daily fast cash is little bits of money. So, right, always, you're refocusing and you're working on your funnel. You're strategically looking at your costs. And different than anyone else, you're going to say, well, Laurel talks out of both sides of her mouth. She says, make money and get really strategic. Some of you overspend in weird areas. And that's what I really want to share. And some of you don't do enough tax deductions. So I just need to help you get your income in order and then your spending in order. And so I'm pretty rigorous about prioritizing your payments and managing your cash flow. And then over time, we're going to modify and adjust your offers. You're going to take structured payment plans, depending on what people need. You're going to contract cash. That is a very trademarked thing that I teach you to do. You're going to pre-sell, do deposits, and contract those commitments. And securing those deposits and contracts will change your revenue model forever. Now, this is my revenue model. It's been my revenue model for decades. The top is a whole bunch of marketing stuff, right? We're launching direct mail again. You say, well, that's pretty damn old fashioned in this technical world. Well, guess what? Everybody is so crowded online. You send out little beautiful postcards and they drop into their little mail, old fashioned style. You'd be shocked at the response right now. In fact, we have a meeting to actually get that going today out into some of our real estate markets, your websites, ad cards, all that kind of stuff. Here's my model and here's what your model needs to be. I've always had books, webinars, and previews or some version. I have so many very high quality, low ticket offers. And the reason you want a high ticket, low value, like low value, meaning $10, $20, $7.97, right? You can get my whole book series, my 5-book series, right? For shipping and handling. There's so many amazing offers. That game that's up there, as I did the Rich Dad Poor Dad game, I put the Millionaire Maker game. If those of you who don't have something to sell, be an affiliate of mine, sell my game. Put that financial literacy in the world. It's taught all over the world right now. And then once we do this, then I bring you into my Off Wall Street asset preview and my workshop. My online version is called This Marketplace, right? And then I have what's called my big table. That's my mentoring. That's my, private work with me. It's a big mastermind of people that are studying being millionaires. They're in that 3 to 5 year planning. And then it's a lifetime deal. I never shut that off. And then if you really want specialized coaching, it's called Head of the Table, which is hot. You can do real estate. You can do direct sales. I love direct sales. I'm in a lot of direct sales and network marketing, and some of you call it. A lot of those companies. I love that residual income. So I can teach you how to do all of those things, how to be an author, publisher, speaker. I've made hundreds of millions of dollars doing it. So you're going to put a funnel together and you're going to have it done by Thursday at noon. You'll say, I can't get it done that fast. We have a process. So you have to follow the process. And this is what you're going to download. One of the first things you're going to do when you sign up today, we're going to send you this form and you're going to download a funnel. Notice there's nothing on it, because that's how I want you thinking about it. I don't want any preconceived ideas of what you've done and what you can't do and any of your noise. And see, yes energy in its purest form is when you say yes and you figure shit out. And I know some of you get stressed out that I cuss a little. I just say that to wake you up because I want to shock you a little bit. So yes energy is those moments where you say yes and you have no flipping idea how to do it. Because then creativity has to turn on in your brain. All of the synapses in your brain say, oh my gosh, you just said yes and we don't know. So you got to go, oh my gosh, I've got to get creative. I have to find resources. But then you have to watch. There's this little gremlin that comes in called no energy. You say yes, and within nanoseconds, all the excuses flood in. Well, I don't know how to build a website. I don't know how to do a funnel. I don't know how to collect money. I don't know how to sell. I've never done this before. My husband won't let me. My wife won't let me. I don't have time. Blah, 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 blah. Noise, excuse. All of that is overcomeable if you're willing to be open, right? And some of you are so resistant. You're exhausting. And we're just going to get through it. I'll give you 7 minutes of therapy and you'll be through it, because I want you to build a massive revenue model. Making $10,000 a month, you could do really, really fast, right? So let's just break down $120,000 a month. And I'm talking in US vernacular for easy math. That's $120 in a year. Let's just say that. Divide by 12 months is 10,000 a month. Divide by 4 weeks, that's 2,500 a week. Divide by 5 days, that's a $500 a day. So now I need you thinking, instead of, I'm going to make a 6-figure business. No, we're going to make $500 a day. And by Friday, around 4:00, I'm going to take you through. Do you know that I know exactly what I'm going to do to you? Because it's a formula. I'm not guessing. Notice I'm not scripted. Well, you don't know but I would hope with my eye, I know this. And you know what? If a lot of you are really babies and new, then we'll pull a bunch of you off and you're going to get your own one-on-one instructor and I'll jump over there and I'll teach you all the beginner stuff. Those of you advanced, you're going to go to a different room. So the way we teach this is we need you by 4:00 on Friday to have a revenue producing day. What's going to create a day where every day money drops in your bank account? Just drops in, comes from the website, comes from this link, comes from this link, comes from a sale, comes from a wire, comes from an e-transfer, comes from a digital currency. That's the life I want you to envision. That's available to you. I do it all the time. Somebody asked me the other day on a broadcast how many checks I get or how many payments I get per month. It's like, I'd have to add them up. I don't know. And I'm not doing this all in one company. I have real estate companies. I've got all sorts of stuff going on. I have all sorts of stuff. I have cannabis. I'm in all the asset classes that I talk about. So the guy who asked if I was broke, no, right? I own it, right? So here's this thing about own and control. I own nothing. I control it all. And I was taught that by a very brilliant man called Keith Cunningham, who was part of the Real Rich Dad team, who taught Kiyosaki a lot of that he knew. And he is a genius, and he's one of many. Ron LeGrand was one of my greatest money mentors. Harry Dent, world-leading economist, dear friend of mine, love Harry Dent, travel all over the world with him. I have a broadcast coming up in a few hours after this. Barry Habib won world-leading awards, very national actually awards in the U.S. of the most predictable real estate and lending and mortgage guy in the country. I mean, just brilliant people that help lead me. So I share that very freely because I could never live my life without a mentor. Business and money is in your life every day. Why are you doing it alone? You go to a weight loss class and you go to a gym and get a fitness coach. Why don't you have a business and money coach? I mean, you do that every day. It is shocking to me. And like I said on my earlier video, I have literally had mentors every year, very handpicked since I was 17 years old. And that was just a few years ago. Last month was my birth month. And if you haven't figured out the math by now, you can rewatch the broadcast. I'm 55 and I've been doing this for a very long time. Unlike any other guru or mentor, I have stayed the course in this conversation. Early on, like in my early 20s, Bob Proctor was a big mentor in helping kind of craft the trajectory of this, where I went. And he always told me, he said, if you want a lifetime of teaching, pick a couple categories, money, sex, or God. People will always want to talk about them. So I picked money and, you can pick sex and God, but all those things, there's a whole bunch more than that. But that was a long time ago when I learned that. We're going to have this funnel completed with offers, prices, and opportunities on how to contract the cash done by Friday at 4:00. And then I'm going to teach you this extraordinary model. It's called Ask, Tell, Ask. It's one of my trademark things about how to teach you how to sell versus serve. So when you sell, these are the skills I want you to reduce. I want you to atrophy these muscles. Stop being self-driven. Stop talking at people. Stop controlling it. Don't be the decision maker. Don't experience rejection. When you tell me no, I think, what haven't I done to have the right conversation for you to be in a yes? And I just say, maybe no now, but not forever. Congruency. Congruency is your values, your integrity, your congruency of your talking, your thinking, your actions. You have to have congruency. You just can't sell something to sell something. And it can't be about money and it can't be about closing deals. Here's what it has to be about. It's not self-driven, it's customer-driven. We're not talking at you, we're talking with you. I'm going to teach you this exact process. You're going to not control it. You're going to provide leadership to their direction so they decide. And there is no rejection. There's an opportunity for a huge relationship to be congruent, abundance driven. And like I look at a relationship when Raymond gives me the privilege to talk to you today is we're just opening the door for a lifetime relationship. Because I want to be the place, our organization is the place worldwide where you get to come for a money question and say, I don't care if it's insurance, I'm getting divorced, my friend died, my dad died, my whatever died, I need legacy work. All of these are money questions. Where should my kids go to school? Should they take out student loans? You have money questions all day long. Who are you talking to? We have like hotlines you're going to call in. We're part of this. This is what you get. You get full phone, like a lot of phone numbers in to our team to say, I have this issue today. I have this issue today. I have this issue today. it's so critical that you have a life support for money and business conversations. I'm going to teach you how to monetize your message. There's a lot of people who do. Raymond does an amazing job. I do it very differently. We're very collaborative and very cohesive from what you learn from how to do a book and how to launch a book. And then I take you how to do from the different kind of money making to keeping it and then investing it. See, the biggest tickets inside this matrix, right? This matrix slide I gave you right here that looks like that. Making money and investing money is where most people go wrong. You make it and you spend it. You don't make it and invest it. And if you just did that, if it was only $100 a month or $100 a week or $50, you're going to find your way to millionaire status so quickly when you just shift your financial infrastructure. And if some of you are out there listening going, financial infrastructure, I don't have one. I know. You cannot be broke. I didn't grow up really poor, but I've had some amazing challenges. And I can tell you, being rich and having money isn't the most important thing, but it has the most impact on your ability to change the world. So the more money you have, the more you get to give, the more you get to contribute, the more you get to be creative, the more you get to say yes. And here's the deal. Even if you have no money, you say yes and you figure out who's going to help you. I mean, I've said yes to so many things in my life. 24 years old, one of my biggest yes moments. Here I am with Chevron, world leading corporation. I'm 24 years old, flying around a helicopter out in the Gulf of Mexico in the United States. And they looked at me and they said, we're going to give you a multi-million-dollar budget to design 272 fitness centers on these offshore rigs. I never saw a rig before that day. And I remember I had these hard hat and goggles and those, cool, sexy blue jumpsuits and steel-toed shoes and flying around a helicopter with a bunch of men. I'm 24 years old and they said, so we want to give you the contract to do this. And I remember just looking straight into the Gulf of Mexico and I said, absolutely, I can do this. And then that little no moment came and I'm like, shit, I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's the moment where a lot of you screw it up and you deny the opportunity. And then I just kind of got myself together with the great mentoring I've had. And I said, who's going to help me get this done? Because I know a lot, but I didn't know at 24 years old how to engineer a non-smoking, right? These offshore platforms were smoking facilities. You can't put a fitness center in there with no ventilation. So you had to do a whole bunch of different things. Anyway, my point is when you say yes, you start getting creative about who's going to help you. Not that you got to say no and not that you're doing it yourself. See, write this down. So many of you, you're doing too much. Your head's down on the keyboard. You're doing stuff. You're on social media all day long. You're not thinking. Your head needs to be up. You need to lead more and do less. Lead more, do less. You'll make a ton more money. And I'm going to teach you how to do that when you monetize your message.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Laurel Langmeyer, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Laurel's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Laurel? Visit asklaurel.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.